Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's great to have you here. This episode today is going to be a follow-up from one of my older videos, which I will link in the description. I got a lot of comments on it asking further questions, so we can talk about those, and maybe if you're looking to be an insurance adjuster or thinking about going into that industry, we can talk about it and I'll let you know. Okay, so let's see. One of the comments that I got was, I was thinking about doing insurance adjusting, but I've heard that being a claims adjuster is the most stressful job with a lot of workload. How hard is it working at home? So yes, it is a very stressful career. There's a lot of turnover. Usually adjusters will last either 1 year, less than a year, or they usually last up to 5 years. So if you've gotten over that 5-year mark and you're still in it and you're still liking it, then you're probably gonna retire as an insurance adjuster. That's what a lot of people in our place have done anyways. So anyways, yes, it is a very stressful career. There's always something going on. You're gonna have 2 screens, 2 monitors, doing 3 things on this one, doing 5 things on this one, also talking on the phone. You have to be really organized and know what you're doing. So the workload is ridiculous. It ebbs and flows. Generally, anytime when more people will be out on the road, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are gonna be when you have more accidents because there's just more people on the road. And so keep in mind, I have only worked for one insurance company, but I've worked for them for 4 years. But on the flip side of that, yes, job security, but also the work never stops coming. And it's easy to get snowballed in your work, so if you get behind or you have not a great workflow, then everything starts to snowball real quick. And by snowball, I mean like if you don't complete everything in this one claim, but you keep going you move to a different claim before you finish this one still needs to be worked on. And whenever you have to go back to it, you have to reacquaint yourself with the file, and then it takes just longer. One of my tips would be to, before you move to the next, whatever your next task is, make sure that you progress the claim as much as you can in that time frame. Like, just do everything that you can on the claim, and when you can't do anything more on it, then go to the next one. But so you're gonna be getting phone calls and emails in like that whole time. So I know at least with our program, how it worked was that we would start a note once we get a phone call. You have to document the files like really clearly, because every single file, there's a chance that it might go in front of a judge and a jury, so you have to make sure that you're very non-biased, fact-based. Another comment is, I actually just got offered a job to be a claims rep. Are there any personal suggestions that you would give to someone just starting out? So for me, just starting out, it was very hectic. I was trying to ask every single person in the office, like, hey, how do you do your workflow? Like, how do you determine what is most important? So you're gonna have a list of, let's say just like 50 tasks that you have to do. If you go to a manager, they're going to say, oh, every single task is important, you need to get them all done at once. But they're managers, that's what they have to say. Other people would say like, oh, you just get them done as you can, whatever. Like, you're gonna feel overwhelmed because there's just a whole lot of work coming at you. There's a lot of activities and everything that's coming at you, and you're constantly getting phone calls and constantly having to do other stuff. Like, it's a lot of multitasking. So my advice for that specific situation is to just take it as you can. You're not a superhuman robot, even if managers think you should be. You're not a superhuman robot. You can't do everything at once all the time to get them all done. How I eventually started doing it, every once in a while I would look over my workflow, see what was working, see what wasn't working, and then, apply it to myself. I think everybody's workflow is going to be different. I think the way that I remember doing it best was I would answer phone calls and respond to emails. Those were like the top 2 priorities. If I had something big, like I had to write an arbitration, that's very time sensitive, but you get maybe a month to write an arbitration. So I try to do those like in the morning before the phones start ringing. Anything big, I do in the morning before phones start ringing. But if it's If somebody's calling in, then that's probably going to be more important than someone who's emailing in, just because it's like more time sensitive. And always answer your phone calls. I would always answer the phone calls, because there's a couple different training people who say this kind of thing about phone calls, is that if you don't answer a phone call, then that gives you a voicemail. And voicemails really stack up pretty easily. So if you get a voicemail, then that means you have to call that person back. That person may or may not answer the phone. You may have to leave a voicemail, in which they'll call you back. So like, us as insurance adjusters, we're on the phone like all the time. Doesn't matter what time it is, we're always on the phone. If you don't answer that call, that can result in like 2 or 3 calls or voicemails. So it's like, if you can answer that question right now, then do it. I would also say to make sure that your customer understands at the forefront of the claim what is going to happen. So I'll usually go through the claims process, let them know what's going to happen at each step, and that way they can have set expectations. And then always at the end of the call, always, you can say something along the lines of like, okay, well, thanks so much for your time today, and be genuine about it. But so thanks so much for your time today. Is there anything else that I can do for you? Because you don't want it to be like, oh, hey, I just needed a quick call back because I forgot about this other question that I had. You should at least give customers the idea that you're open to questions, and that just makes them feel more secure. Feel free to give me a call back. I know that there's a lot of working parts in a claim, so if you have any questions, just please give me a call, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. And that kind of just gives them like the extra security that sometimes people need. And again, since it is so stressful, it's really good to talk about it, at least with your coworkers, because they know exactly what you're going through, and they can help you through it too. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions for me as an insurance adjuster, or if you have any questions about what the work life or workload is like, let me know in the comments, and I can respond to you pretty quickly, or I can make another video. Just remember, be kind, be open, and be genuine. Okay, bye!